What? Well, how does he have so much? Oh, it's because he's taken over so many. Oh, wow. What a crazy guy. What a crazy guy. Okay, I'd like tile. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems like every single vassal that we go and chase now ends up being in some kind of dead end and trapping themselves. Welcome back to our Sturgian Viking playthrough, and as you can see, we're just about to completely crush Tasla into the ground, and that is exactly what I have been doing off screen all this time, by the way. And there's a good reason for that. I actually had a bit of a special, well, is it a treat? I'm not entirely sure, but if it's a treat for you, then I'm glad, because that means that it's also a treat for me, because, well, generally I do enjoy when you're enjoying yourself, obviously, but otherwise, I also enjoy when we permanently remove people's heads from their shoulders. And you know what that means. Execution time. Oh yeah. So what we're going to be doing is actually, you know what? I might try to persuade this guy. Yeah, look at this. He has a whole bunch. Oh, look at that. He actually took Vladiv Castle as well. So I think we probably want to speak to him and maybe just try to persuade him. All right, there we go. Oh, nice. A 68% chance and a critical success at that. All right, can we do better? Can we do better? Yes. Ah, there we go. Wow, 62% was actually a total completion right there. Very nice. Okay, so I'm a bit worried about this. Oh, what? He joins for such a small amount? Okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm literally going to just buy all of his castles for 2.25. I think that's actually kind of a bargain, because we get his clan to join us for, albeit potentially a limited time, but we also gain all of his castles at the same time. Let's do it. Let's do it. I know that this is probably going to be frowned upon by a lot of people, but in general, I do tend to make decisions that are the most entertaining, or I try to, you know, I do try to do that. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work out as intended. Sometimes the AI interferes in some way and they go, oh, I'm going to make peace with you now, even though you were just about to do a massive siege, and so on. You know, that's the kind of thing that sometimes happens, but most of the time I do try to do the most entertaining thing that I can possibly do at the time. So let's see what we can actually do with all of our party members now. So I did say that we're going to do a little bit of executing, didn't I? So as you can see, we have a very significant prisoner list right here. And Godoon is none other than present here. And we're going to be executing him. Boom, like so. You're done, sir. You are done. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. And I was actually also hoping on pretty much just executing every single vassal that I know of, in other words. So anyone that has a significant army, so for example, Varmund, we're going to execute him as well. We're going to probably execute Achios, probably. Let's execute him too, and we'll execute Achaku. He's also kind of annoying, so we'll get him out the way. Kinteg is also someone that is kind of annoying, so let's get him out the way too. And of course, Tasla, who we just took prisoner, we're going to be executing him as well. Now, I am mostly choosing vassals from the Crusade at this point. I don't really want to choose anyone from any other faction, with the exception of some of them from the Empire, of course, but that's the thing. If we execute these people, just have a look at, let's see now, Godoon. Have a look at Godoon. So you can see here that his entire clan is dead. We completely eliminated his clan. And then we have Kinteg here, who is a part of Kanujan's clan. And if we can take Sokatai as well as Korta, I believe I do actually have Korta in my prisoner's hold. And do we have Sokatai as well? No, we have Quarter here, so let's execute her and Sokotai. Where is Sokotai? Apparently I don't have her, unfortunately, so I might have to do a little bit of hunting, you know what I mean? Oh yes, I might have to do a little bit of hunting, so there you go. So Sokotai is near Kimley. Obviously we don't actually know whether she is still there, so I'm just gonna go into this village real quick just to update where they currently are, and let's have a look. Hetania, that is next to Argaron. Okay, so that basically means that it's down here. Hetania is right there. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit too far away for me to get to right now, unfortunately. So I think what I'm going to do is just try to take Varnovopol as fast as possible. I believe we actually did take this in a previous episode, so I'm going to cut to when we actually do attempt to go in. Alright, so we're not actually going to be attacking Varnovopol right here because none other than Mr. Monchug himself has appeared out of nowhere. I'd like to actually see what kind of people are in his clan as well, because I'd like to eliminate his clan completely. It is a tier 6 clan. You can see here that the relations are still going down with pretty much every single person in the game at this point, which I gotta say, I don't really mind because we do have a lot of fiefs, and even if someone is kind of upset with us, they can't really do much about it as far as I'm aware. So yeah, we're just going to eliminate that one, and I don't think... I continually forget about Monchug. Bortu, Chagan, don't have him. Don't have any of these, I don't think, actually. Do I? Yeah, I think I have this guy. This guy, right? Okay, so let's execute him. Ilatar is kind of annoying too, so let's execute him as well. I'm just like, he's kind of annoying now. He's not our mortal enemy, but he's kind of annoying, so I will indeed be executing him. Yes, that sounds like a plan. Anyway, we're going to go in here, try and help out Vipon, and I think I might, you know what? I might actually just go vassal hunting. I'm not entirely sure whether that would be the best use of my time. That's the thing. That's what I've been doing off screen for about an hour. I basically just sort of roamed around the countryside in this little section of territory next to Varnovopol and intermittently began sieges in the area as well, because if obviously you know this, you know the strategy, you know the classic strategy of literally just starting a siege. I found this out way back in the first ever series of Bannerlord that I created, and basically if you create a siege, then vassals are more likely to appear out of nowhere, and then you will be able to prey upon them if your movement speed is fast, you know, and that's it. That's all you can do. Now, of course, obviously, because we are an infantry-focused army, it is very difficult for me to catch up to any cavalry-focused army, and that's exactly why Monchug was able to escape from me, and why Vipon getting preyed upon here was pretty much required for us to get any resolution. So, if Vipon was not here, I probably would not have been able to get the opportunity to attack Monchug himself, which is actually perfect. That is perfect timing. Very much appreciate Vipon putting his body on the line. That makes him a good player. Anyway, I think I'm going to die. No. Oh, did you see that? I brought out the shield just in time. Okay, come on, guys. No. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, just going to move back, and then we will tell my people just to charge straight on in. I don't think I have any writing skill right now. Oh, wait a minute. I can actually write that? I was hopeful that I might be able to get on a mount just a little bit, and maybe I could use my Bill on it. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I could also use my Lewis on it, or my Francis, or maybe my Zoe. I don't know. But yes, there's a... Oh, that's an old reference. It's actually a... Well, it depends on when you stopped playing, or if you played it at all, but that is a very old reference to a game made by Valve. And yeah, if you don't know who it is or what it is, then I feel sorry for you, because that game is probably the best, or one of the best co-op experiences you're ever going to have. But anyway, that's it. Done. We have taken Mr. Monchug prisoner, And actually, I'm hoping that we will be taking him prisoner. Yes, okay. Phew. I was a bit worried that maybe Vipon would take him prisoner. Well, why? Look at his face. Look at his face. Why is he grinning at me? Why is he grinning at me in such a manner? How dare you? Ooh, what an insult. What an insult to be grinning at me in such a devilish fashion. Well, you know what that means. Oh yes, now that we have successfully taken him prisoner, I will now be showing him the door in multiple ways. Boom. You are dead. Chagan is now the new ruler. Alright, good to know, good to know. Okay, so I'm wondering whether I should just execute everyone, to be honest. I don't think I should do that, to be fair. Masui's actually... What? Masui's dead. She died of natural causes in 1092. Ooh, I have no idea when that was, actually. I don't know what the current year is, so that's actually kind of interesting. I would like to speak to Ezur, though. Is he actually in my party here? Because I'd like to be able to potentially persuade him to join us. Maybe I could, you know, try to persuade him to give over some of his fiefs or something like that. But yeah, we're just going to actually execute Yana here. I know that Yana was actually a previous wife of one of our other characters, but well, this is not that character, and we're going to treat it as such. So yes, otherwise, let's see if I can maybe do some damage to this guy. Let's try and get him in a rather compromising situation. Photographic evidence is not required. Yes. No, this is not LA Noire. No, certainly not. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe do a little damage there. And we took a little bit of damage as well. Don't know whether you noticed, by the way, I did change my army composition ever so slightly. I basically just swapped out a couple of my higher tier units and took some lower tier ones, because I noticed that I was actually getting a bit low on higher tier. And as a result, I was suffering casualties when I didn't really want to take casualties. So instead, I've just taken a couple of people that could potentially level up, as you can see, like these Varyag champions, Varyag veteran warriors, and, well, I took some of these guys as well, even though I don't think they even... No, they don't even level up. And the Valkyries, they're not actually that good, unfortunately. The Valkyries are not that good. Oh, yeah. So I've seen a couple of people, actually, ask for this. And indeed, I believe a couple of people also asked for this in previous series, most notably the unmodded series, because I know that a number of people do appreciate unmodded Bannerlord, which is perfectly fine. If you prefer the unmodded version of the game, then that is you know, up to you. However, the question that I'm referring to is, can you do a siege defense? And I'd love to. I absolutely would love to, but the main problem with siege defense is, as I've said, well, a few times now, the enemy do tend to be a bit fickle, shall we say. They do tend to be a bit fickle. They decide on a whim, pretty much, whether they want to attack a certain place or whether they want to raid a certain village, and they can be discouraged very easily. And that's the main problem that I have when I'm actually going to go and do a siege defense. Because while I would love to be able to do one, I've only done... you know what? I can probably count on one hand, you know, how many times I have actually been able to get into a siege defense in the entirety of the time that I've been playing Bannerlord. That's hundreds of hours. Right? That's hundreds of hours, including off-screen time, by the way. So I think maybe the developers could do something about that, but obviously that means making the AI fundamentally different than what it is right now. And it could just literally be my own campaign settings. It might be that the campaign AI settings are influencing the decisions so dramatically that the AI makes, especially on the enemy side, that it is causing a lot of... Oh yes, I should go over here. Oh no, I shouldn't go over there. Oh yes, I should go over here, and so on and so on and so on. And then they just kind of get into a situation where they don't really know what they're doing, and they end up not doing much, if you know what I mean. So that's the point. What I'm trying to say is, if I can, I'm definitely going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. I personally very much enjoy siege defenses, more than siege offenses, to be honest. So if we can get into those situations, that would be super fun. But it is going to be a bit of a difficulty to do that. So hopefully we can make it happen. Actually, you know what? The only way that I've found that is pretty much 100% chance to get into a siege defense is taking your units and being very careful with them, if you know what I mean. So basically what would happen is we would wait for an enemy vassal, or should we say more likely an enemy army, to begin their siege. We would wait for that, and then as soon as they begin the siege, we would try to break through the enemy's lines, which would indeed end up taking quite a lot of our forces, unfortunately, because that's just what happens. You know, the realism factor has been notched up a little bit, so they don't just allow you to go through like they did in Warband, because in Warband, whenever you would go to defend a particular siege, it would be quite easy to do that. You know, they would basically be like, oh, do you want to go through? Oh, okay, that's fine. And the enemy would allow you to go through and join the defenders, which of course is very honorable for them to do so, but it is not happening like that in Bannerlord whatsoever. You need to sacrifice a number of your units to be able to get inside. And so what I'd probably do is wait until they actually go in, because if you join a siege defense effort and actually break in through the lines before they have committed, then you're going to sacrifice your units for nothing, pretty much. Because if you have a significant army, let's say you have about the same size as my army, so let's say you have about 250 to 300 or something like that, then you go in and you sacrifice, I don't know, 100 or so. So you have about 200 units remaining, and then they have not started. They're more than likely going to just be like, oh, okay, you joined the siege defense? Okay, we've reevaluated our odds of taking this, and we are now going to run away. And they will run away for no cost. That's it. It's astonishing, isn't it? It's astonishing that the attackers gain so much of an advantage just by merely having the choice of what they can indeed do at that point. So that's the reason why I recommend joining a siege when it has already begun. Unfortunately, sometimes that even so doing that kind of strategy, that is just not going to work. Sometimes it will just fail and they will end up leaving anyway. So it is entirely up to you whether you take that option if you are playing the game alongside me, but generally be careful with that, because I've done that in the past where I've had a relatively small army, about 125 units, and I went into a siege defense with I think I took like 60 casualties, and then I only had like 60 units remaining, and it was pretty bad. You can kind of imagine how bad that was. And then the enemy decided to break off their attack, and my face, you should have seen my face at the time. I was literally just like, what? What are you doing? How can you do that to me? You know, that's just crazy. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that might very well happen. Oh, they want to make peace with us. Okay, very, very fast. Very, very fast. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. I am literally just going to execute. I'm going to execute everyone. Oh yes, there you go. Their entire clan was literally wiped out right then and there. They were literally just wiped out. Okay, so let's see. There we go. There we are. I'm just going to execute this one. I'm just going to see. This one's also Crusade as far as I'm aware. Let's do that. I'm trying to execute as many people as possible from Crusade right now, because they are going to be making peace with us, and they are going to be able to build up their forces once again. I don't know whether I really want to allow them to do that. Would you want to allow them to do that, considering the Crusade are probably the most of our bane? They really do a good job of making them our arch enemies, pretty much. Okay, so there you go. That seems pretty good to me. And now let me actually just take a quick look. Yeah, so as you can see, we have completely eliminated the Kurgit clan. And as a result, they're done. And what about, and look at this, we've eliminated Kanujan's clan as well. And all of the children are also lost apparently because they have no one else to take care of them, I suppose, even though they could quite easily find other people to look after them, but all right, I guess that's how it goes. And we have Chagan here, who is now the new leader of the Khuzait. Haven't had an opportunity to find him 5 days ago. And Bolat was at Onira. Okay, so Chagan, let's just go in here real fast. I'd like to be able to potentially get him. Why is someone from the Vlandians joining the Khuzait? I always feel like that's super weird. Anyway, Hitania. Okay, so he's also at Hitania, so I might be able to make my way over there. I don't want to make a decision on the peace agreement just yet, because even if I do not vote, it is going to go through, no matter what I do. So if I can, I would like to be able to make my way over to Hitania as soon as possible. And maybe get them into a battle. If I can get them into a battle, then we might be able to indeed execute one more of the... never mind. Wasn't able to make it there in time. And also Varnovopol is not going to be taken back. I would not have had enough time to be able to go in there either. Probably would have gotten up maybe one siege tower, which would have resulted in quite a few casualties nevertheless. But... here's the thing. Now that we are at peace with the Khuzait, wow, I'm making huge amounts of money now thanks to that tribute. Did you see how much tribute they wanted to give us? Oh, apparently someone left. Yeah, someone... wait a minute. What was that? Oh no, there's all kinds of things going on and I'm not seeing it. I don't know why. Oh well, never mind. Okay. Well, someone ended up... aha, hello. Yes. Anyway, someone actually ended up leaving the Sturgians, and they were part of the Vlandians. I assume it was... what's that guy's name again? The... I can't remember his name, but we basically persuaded him in like 3 episodes ago or something like that, and I didn't really want to give him anything because indeed he was probably going to leave, so that's the reason why I didn't. Anyway, what I'm going to do... can you see what I'm going to do here? Oh yes. What? Well, how does he have so much? Oh, it's because he's taken over so many... oh, wow. What a crazy guy. What a crazy guy. Okay, I'd like tile. I'm going to see... okay, I can... ooh. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Right. I'm not entirely sure what I can do here. I could... you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trade some castles with him. Some castles that are way too far out of my reach. And... I think that's all I can do. This is actually kind of perfect. There's a reason why I want to do this. Can you tell why it is? If you can tell why it is, then props to you, because then you know what my strategy is. I mean, I basically explained my strategy in the past couple of episodes anyway, but yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to do this. It's 2 castles, which is going to be kind of annoying to lose, but 1 town that will enable me to do so much is, in my opinion, a pretty good bargain. This guy's running around with what? 8.7 million. Okay, whoa. That's some pretty crazy stuff right there. Anyway, I'm going to be taking that. Thank you very much. Okay, so now that we have tile, look at that. That is fantastic. That's a really nice point for us to have. Oh yes, that's going to be so good. Next time the Khuzait declare war against us, I am going to be... I'm going to be loving that. I am going to be loving that because I will be able to resupply. I'll be able to get more forces from there. It will be, oh yes, just absolutely wonderful. So I'm looking forward to it. Although maybe I'm not, because I personally do not like fighting the Khuzait. I think they are annoying, but I'm going to be ready for them nevertheless next time. All right, so let me see. There we go. Oh, they got a lot of food here as well. I've been attempting to get a lot more food supplies for potential extended campaigns and things like that. So if I do have to call for an army, then I will have the required supplies available. Oh, what? Okay, we have a massive payday coming to us right now, and yeah, you can see exactly what's going on here. Western Empire, 9,500 tribute, which is almost as much as the Khuzait, and the Khuzait could have easily afforded to pay us even more, if you can believe it, because obviously you've seen how much money Mr. Chagan has. He's got literally like, what, 9 million almost, which is just, oh, absolutely crazy. What's actually going on here with Mekalovia Castle, by the way? Why does it have 0 prosperity? Why does it have 0 prosperity? I have no idea. That is actually kind of weird. Well, I guess I don't really need the cash, considering I am making a pretty tidy amount thanks to all of the tributes. Let me actually just have a look here. Yeah, look at this. We're gaining 11,000 from the Khuzait, 9,500 from the Western Empire, and then the rest, by comparison, are basically, shall we say, teardrops in the rain. Yeah, there's another reference there for you. That's a very old one too. Anyway, let's see if we can maybe make our way down, because what I would like to do is potentially take Cyronea. Yes, I'm actually putting my sights pretty high up here. Not entirely sure if it's going to work out, but we're going to try our very best. And if I can take it, that's going to enable us to further push our strategy to the limit. And, well, people say I don't have any strategy. Can you believe that? That's actually kind of amusing to me. I was was laughing for a while after that, gotta say, because generally it may not seem like I have a strategy, but now here's the thing. Is a strategy if someone understands it or doesn't understand it? That's the point. It's kind of like, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Because here's the thing, even I don't know whether I have a strategy most of the time. Oh yes, that's how good of a strategy it is. I'm just speaking nonsense here, but still, it's rather amusing. All right, so I'm actually wondering whether I should try to persuade this guy, because he does own Cyronea, but I don't really want to give him any money. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he will do something here. Oh, you know me as a man of honor. No, actually not. I am not either a man, actually, or an honorable person at all, because we just executed huge amounts of people. Yes, but you didn't see that, Mr. Joron. You have no idea that that happened. Okay, he has 1.2 million. There's no way he's going to be giving this up for anything. Yeah, as you can see, he's not even willing to join us for any amount of cash that I have right now. If I even give him even if I give him a town, even if I give him Rote, okay, what about Epicrotia? No, even Epicrotia. Okay, you know what, Joron? You're done. You're done, sir. You had your opportunity and you squandered it, and now I'm literally going to... Should I execute him? I'm actually wondering whether I should start executing all of the vassals that I come across that I recognize, because those are more than likely the major ones, and then I can more adequately reduce the overall power of other factions without having to really worry too much about taking them prisoner consistently again and again. So it might make sense. Anyway, let's call for an army. Let's see if I can get anyone nearby. Wow, there's huge amounts of people so far away. All right, there's 1,200. That's pretty good, isn't it? I think that's going to be fine. So let me just see. I'm going to go for the old-fashioned. Well, actually, hilariously enough, it's not even old-fashioned at this point. But I'm going to go for the classic 4 trebuchets and just going to beat down the walls. All right, so we got a bit of a train going on right here, as you can no doubt tell. This is going to be kind of interesting. Anyway, I have been luring a lot of the vassals of the Southern Empire into 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 situations so far, and I have been able to capture 2 of them. And yeah, I've actually been receiving some kind of strange messages from our companions. And you can see here, I don't know why these are doubled up. I don't know why we have two different options twice. It's kind of a bit strange. Anyway, this victory was earned and built upon the corpses of our enemies. And then we have another option here. And these are also doubled up. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. But I am just going to say great achievements deserve a matching feast. Spare no expense. I assume that this is a feature that is not yet fully implemented. And there we go. What you have done here today, it will not be forgotten. So it's basically rewarding your troops. Now, I think because I have maximum morale, I'm probably not seeing the benefit of this particular event, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be for something to do with increasing your morale, making your troops like you a little bit more, and so on. But as it stands, I obviously have maxed out morale because we're just literally killing everyone in sight. But still, that I guess that's quite nice, but I have not seen that at all in the previous hundreds of battles that I've done in this series, and so it's a bit weird that it's appearing now, so I'm not sure what happened with that. Anyway, I've actually made up my mind on this. I'm actually going to be executing Joron, Nikasor, and Abelitos. Basically anyone that I recognize, like Nifon as well, and Lantanor, these guys, they're all going to get executed, and we're going to be a bit careful about what's going on here. Oh, look at this. They are making errors all over the place. Look at that. I'm able to run rings around them right now. I think they're mostly running around with recruits as well, because it is just so simple for us to eliminate them. Look at that. One death on our part. Crazy. Just crazy. Okay, so let me take the loot. Ooh, yeah, give me that. Okay, so just gonna level up a couple of our people, and we'll just execute him too. And then we will get Nifon into a battle, hopefully. And then we can take him prisoner too. Now, the leader of the army that we just saw is Germana, and I've not seen her before. So that is going to be interesting. As you can see, look at this. Once again, we're going to be getting a small conversation, and apparently it did increase Magna's skill in tactics. I'm not entirely sure why that would be, but okay. I'm happy about it nevertheless, but otherwise, execute Nifon as well. There we go. All right. So, we're declaring war on the Azarai. Okay, sure. I guess I'm happy with that. Why not? I mean, they're going to do it. They're going to do it whether I say yes or no anyway. So I guess we'll do that. Even though I probably could say no with 100 influence, and it would probably change the course of action at least a little bit. But yeah. But by the way, oh yes, I'm not actually going to be executing everyone. At least I'm not going to be executing any of the new vassals that I don't recognize, but anyone that I do, I will be attempting to remove them from the game, because I'd like to see exactly what happens. What does a faction actually do after they lose huge amounts of their major vassals? In my opinion, that's a very interesting topic, and I know you, Gutlands. I know you, certainly. Oh, Gifor is also coming. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so there we go. Let's get him as well. Going to be executing some minor factions too, I think, because they can be a huge pain to deal with, especially considering they are capable of switching factions quite often. So we're going to get rid of the Brotherhood here, or at least some of them. They're not that difficult to eliminate, thankfully, so maybe I could leave them alive, but the Brotherhood is specifically going to be taking quite a few shots from me. And there's Gifor. He has been eliminated now as well. He's always quite strong, so generally I tend to think that getting rid of him would be pretty good, as well as obviously all of his friends as much as possible. Okay, so there you go. Okay, now obviously, as you've no doubt seen, I've already eliminated a lot of vassals that we might not even know about, but that was just purely because they were from the Crusade. Because generally what I tend to think about right now is weakening the Crusade as much as I possibly can, and then from there trying to execute people that I know of, and that's pretty much it. That's going to be my course of action going forward, or at least that's what I'm going to try to do. And Obviously, plans can change. Good strategies do end up being a little bit adaptable, and here come some of my vassals to join my army, because I still have them coming, hilariously enough. They've taken this long to actually get here, and we're still going to plan on taking Cyrenea, but it is going to be extremely significant, because there's over 1,000 units in there. So, if you enjoyed this video, then please, by all means, leave a like. It is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.